would be me. Except I would.
All right,
I
our
needed
stream
to
is
be
live.
In advance,
It's like 13, 14.
Okay.
How many we expect?
We got
24 signed up.
24.
Really?
All right, our stream is live.
Okay. So
You're live on intro.
wow. It's on Facebook?
No, it's, so it streams to the band app,
Okay.
which lets us keep it up for 30 days, but then we can save the video and archive it for longer if we want to. Once we build up followers on YouTube, we'll probably switch to using YouTube Live.
Okay.
50 subscribers before you can do that. So that'll be one of our campaigns. Get everybody in the caucus, their friends to subscribe to the page.
Hey.
Don't ever start early.
Hi. Oh, we're
Please don't start early, ever.
Good to see you.
Thank you. I'm driving from Kernersville, yeah. Hey, how are you?
Oh, we didn't need.
I'm part of
Oh, yeah.
and I-40. Yeah, I come from the other side.
And we can
Kind of
start-
I should just leave it here.
Yeah, that's good.
It's hard, there's really, you know, sometimes it doesn't
Probably
take
like
as long.
starting like right
It's hard
at
to
6
go.
to 7 o'clock.
That's just
Yeah.
evil.
It was news to me, it was going to 8:30.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying, guys. We can see how long.
Yeah.
We might spend time.
Is that a suggestion?
time to go.
Meeting's over.
Okay, start.
It's time for somebody to take their meds.
We can jump in. We have a check-in question, so that will give us time to let people join. Thank you all for coming. This is our maybe first official, maybe, I don't know if the last one was official, but first official Progressive Caucus meeting. Wanted to have this disclosure that we are broadcasting audio and video back there. So everybody good with that? Okay. All right. So wanted to just reintroduce. Oh, let's do a checking question. Let's start with a checking question, and then we'll jump in. So you could share your name and the progressive. And I'm Adam, the president of the caucus. Share your name and the topic you're most passionate about. And I will say universal childcare in pre-K. And I'll pass to Rob.
Hi, Rob Yoder, second VP here. I have like 1,000 topics, but I'm gonna go with the one that first got me really involved in politics, and that's our immigrant community, our international community. So immigration reform, finding pathways to citizenship, those kinds of things.
I'm Deborah Davis. I'm like Rob, I've got 1,000 different topics, but I think just helping the marginalized communities would be the main topic.
Thank you.
Michael Reed, Universal Healthcare.
Michael Holt. I want everybody to feel free to be who they are and not to worry about it.
Ben Spencer, probably more so definitely when it comes to organizing labor and getting actually a just economic system.
You?
Lauren Zalke, trans and LGBTQ rights.
Sarah?
I'm Sarah Gerard, trying to narrow it down.
She's Madam Secretary.
Yeah.
Madam Secretary.
Madam Secretary for this evening. I want everybody to have housing and food and healthcare.
Yep, hard to narrow down. Jen?
I'm Jen, I'm the third VP, and I'm like the biggest capitalism hater you'll ever meet.
Andy?
Andy Boline. I think along with universal healthcare, just kind of getting corporations out of the basic human rights, like housing. education and
Yeah.
healthcare.
There you go.
Hey, Linda Winnicott, Universal Childcare and Pre-K.
Yay!
That's why I sat beside her.
My name's Leslie Mullinex, and so, I'm just one of our coalition supporters for universal pre-K, but also, I'm very, passionate about a living wage, how we get that.
Wendy Harless, LGBTQ rights and trans healthcare.
Well, good evening, I'm Carrie Williams, I'm kinda like Rob, I'm the first vice chair, but I'm kinda like Rob, I have a lot, but I'm gonna have to go with what really got me here, and that is empowering marginalized community around environmental justice issues.
Jenny?
Jenny Marshall, and I am going with a living wage and universal basic income.
Yeah.
UBI.
I'm David Huff. It's amazing I can't say my name without spelling it. I'm David Huff, H-A-U-G-H. And I have all kinds of things that I'm in favor of. Most of what's been covered here tonight, but just bringing democracy back to America.
I'm Judy Knoll, and I think saving democracy is heavy on my mind, but a living wage and housing and food for people, it's just, we could do it, why haven't we?
Thanks.
John Pace, I would have to say living wage.
Okay. And then you just joined us, we have a check-in question, your name and the progressive topic you are most passionate about.
Okay. Sorry, I'm late. My name is Elizabeth Summer, and that's difficult. I think all of it is really important. I also think it's all tied together. So I think I'm just passionate about taking some power back.
Yeah.
I've been very frustrated by the feeling that there's nothing we can do as things like, and maybe I would say civil rights perhaps is really the most important thing right now, because that was so hard fought. And it seems to have taken nothing for it to go away. And I hate that.
Yes.
All right, there you all. Sounds like you are in the right place, and it is hard to pick
It was
an
a
issue.
test.
Yeah, it's a test. So I think we did the introductions of the leadership team, but just a reminder, Adam Hill, president. We have Carrie Wiggins as the first VP, Rob Yoder as second VP, Jen Wiles as third VP. We love our vice presidents. And then Sarah as the secretary.
She prefers Madam
Yeah,
Secretary.
Madam
Forever referred to as.
Yeah. So those are our emails. I think if you want to, reach out to any of us. Hopefully it's pretty easy. We have FCPC as the prefix, and then president, and then first VP, second VP, third VP. Unfortunately, secretary was not available, so it's secretary one. Okay, so first item, approve the agenda. So is there any additions people want to make to the agenda? Otherwise, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor of this agenda, approving this agenda?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Alrighty. We have done our first action beyond the bylaws.
We's official.
So the leadership team met to just primarily prepare the agenda, but also just talk about kind of background stuff we need to be doing to set up the caucus. So I had a conversation with Jason Butler. He is the president at the state progressive caucus level. And then I talked with Jenny as well, like what are things we need to be attending to as a caucus. So one of the big things that was named in those conversations is that now that we're a caucus, we have a seat on the county executive committee and the state executive committee. So
No, the executive board. You,
Oh, the executive.
you get invited to the
Okay.
executive board
Okay.
meetings.
Okay, I have the
That's okay.
terminology wrong.
That's okay.
The executive board for the county, but the
Yeah.
state is, I'm pretty sure.
Jason sits on the state executive
Yeah.
committee,
Okay,
yes,
got it. All right.
as the state president.
So I would be the representative, or I send a proxy, if I can't be. Is that right, Jay?
Yes.
Okay.
You got it.
Just keep me in check here, okay. Then a lot of the other things we discussed was setting up the agenda today, and then the other many of the other items are, what we're gonna cover in other agenda items. The last thing we discussed was, recommending we hold on building our own website. We can have a page on the Forsyth County Democratic Party. We have a Facebook page. So we felt like, one, a website would take money. We need a domain, and we discussed last time, I think, maybe holding on having funds, because that means we need a treasurer, we need to submit reports. So we kind of discussed this and are recommending to hold on the website and holding any funds as a caucus. Any kind of comments on that, any issues with that, for the time being? And we felt like that was work that we didn't need to necessarily be delving into on the front end, and really focusing on like, how do we discuss the issues and the actions we want to be taking as a caucus versus kind of working on marketing.
And I think that's more important.
Yeah.
Especially because it sends a message of unity within the Democratic Party, rather than, again, splintering out, having your own zip website. Why do you need to do that?
Okay, cool. So all the other items we discussed, we're gonna cover in other agenda items. Leadership, is there other things you wanna report out from our meeting we had? And we're gonna meet monthly, a couple weeks before the caucus meeting to prepare the agenda, and I think we'll always report out, what we discussed to the whole group. Okay.
The other thing, well, one of the things is what we have going here in live streaming. We want to make sure that we are both accessible for people who can't travel, but who want to be part of the group, but also kind of an archive of our group that we can go back to later.
Oh, another thing that, both Jason and Jenny said is just jump into action as quickly as possible, so that like we're actively engaging people and really getting on the ground doing the work. So that was an emphasis, is like just jump right in. Okay, so on that note, we sent out a survey, and so Jen is going to talk about survey results and kind of what you all named as priority topics.
So please interrupt me if you have questions. This is not us driving the show or anything like that, but I did put together a slide deck of the membership survey results. We wanted to go through them. So the big thing is, we did this May 2026. It's something that we might do again sometime, but we wanted to get we had a large crowd at our first organizing meeting, so we wanted to get all those people to give us some feedback to get us started. And we really looked at community priorities, concerns, and opportunities. So that's what we'll go over. While we conducted the survey, we wanted to understand member priorities, identify strategic focus areas, learn how members want to participate, surface concerns early, and truly, I think this is the biggest one, and this was a big part of our meeting last week, is we want to build a member-driven organization. So there are people that have roles, and we're kind of like accountable or responsible for certain things, but and you'll actually see this reflected in the concerns in a second. We do not want this to be like, there's like little groups that all have their opinions and they're factoring off with each other and things like that. We really want this to be a democratic process where people are heard. And I think we even said we would rather do something that we don't feel as passionate about, but all of y'all feel really passionate about, than do something that I just by myself care about, but no one's gonna come along with me for the ride, because we need numbers to get anything accomplished. So we wanna do things that the group wants to do. So what we heard most clearly, these are kind of like our top 3 things that we heard as we got through all the comments, how everyone ranked everything. So one is that y'all wanna elect progressive candidates. So that included things like building a bench. So that's looking at how do we actually get people to want to run for office that are progressive. Because we know sometimes being progressive, not always, but sometimes it comes with like being a parent or being younger or having a 2 jobs, and so you don't have the time to go run a campaign and things like that. So how can we build that bench and support folks that wanna run for office that have progressive values, that are maybe working class and maybe need that extra support? How can we support campaigns? And then I think a big one is just how can we increase turnout? We know that we win elections when more people vote, so how do we get them out to vote? And how do we put out candidates that people wanna vote for? Second was build community power, so that looked like year-round organizing, coalition building with other groups, and just visibility in the community. We wanna be out in front of people, not just during election time, but year-round, building relationships, so then when we come around during elections, people already know us and we've already made an impact. And then finally, 3, advancing progressive policy. So those are the 3 that kind of kept coming up, but it's what we talked about in this room today, is we want to actually be a part in saying, what does a progressive housing, education, and working families policy look like at the county level, at the city level, at the state level, at the Congress level, and actually be pushing that onto our folks that are running for office and kind of driving them to these more progressive policies from the local all the way to the top. So when we ranked order all of them, this was the ranks. You can just kind of see very transparently what the data was. And that matches with what I just talked about. But this was the rank order that you guys said was most important to y'all. I also just want to point out that mutual aid direct service can be a part of your community organizing. Educational events can be a part of your advocacy policy. So we're probably gonna do all of these things, but we need a focus. But there might be, some of them might come up as we're working on the other things. So this was a positive themes word map that I did. So I wanted to take all the positive things y'all are saying about your excitement about this group and talk about it. So your progressive was the biggest. You're very excited about a progressive caucus, community, candidates, organizing, outreach, voter turnout. So you can see some of the big ones and they align with what we just talked about as the priorities. The challenges and concerns infighting was a really big one. So that's what I just talked about, is that I think that came up over and over and over again. As nobody wants to see this group be a group where there's infighting, where there's cliques, things like that. I need you, and I think everyone would agree with me, tell me if you don't, you can say that, but we need you guys to tell us if that's happening, because sometimes we may not even know. So we really want this to be a transparent group where people speak up, have the hard conversations, tell us what you're really thinking, and things like that. So I want you guys to let us know if you feel like these things are happening. Burnout was a big one. I think a lot of people said they don't want to see this group not be around in 2 years, but they really want it to be sustainable. A little worry around direction, that we we won't really take clear actions. That's something you're gonna see today, is we're gonna start today at this meeting with what our actions are, and that's a part that y'all are gonna decide. What success looks like, and this is again is what y'all said on the survey. So success would look like electoral success. We have we have progressive candidates that get elected. We have a strong midterm turnout. Organizational growth, so we see more membership. I think very important, we see diverse membership. We have volunteer engagement. Community presidents, we become we have trusted local visibility, strong partnerships, and policy impact. Clear advocacy priorities, local policy wins. I have no idea what I did to get that reaction from the back. It sounded like you were joking.
No,
We'll send Madam Secretary back there.
Yeah.
Right.
Noted.
For the record.
And then I just pulled some key quotes that I thought kind of captured what people were saying. So 1, we need to be visible not just when we need support, but when the community needs us. 2, the caucus should build a bench for the unsexy down ballot races nobody's recruiting for. 3, do not lose our progressive values as we grow. I think there was a thought, and I am interested in thoughts on this, maybe not now, maybe we'll send another survey, I don't know. I'm not in charge of this, I'm the last VP. But I am really interested, because there was this one thing where there's this concern that we'll be too progressive and we'll leave out part of the party, or we won't be progressive enough. And so I think we need some guidance on what does progressive mean to all of us, and what do we want it to mean for the group, and things like that. So that was something I took from the survey.
And I think that applies at different levels too. So what does it mean to be progressive in Winston-Salem? What does it mean to be progressive in Forsyth County and in North Carolina, and then across the country?
I also think within the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Again, I at least came to this group sort of thinking it's a subgroup within the Democratic Party. That, so the point is not to, again, not to fight, not to separate out, but to find a way to work within.
Yeah, to be like a real lever inside of the bigger party, yeah.
So I'm sorry, I actually thought of it when you said no infighting, but the working group that worked on the thing from last meeting,
The bylaws,
thank you. I
we
know
have
Sarah
not,
would
we
be-
have not had a working group for that yet. I think you're gonna
just
talk
talk
about
about
that in a second.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, we have not. We're gonna talk about that tonight. We were supposed to put it on the survey, who wanted to be a part of it, and it was forgotten by someone that we won't name. I'm just joking. And so we were gonna ask tonight. Any questions on this survey? Or the survey results? Anything else people wanna share? Anything that you said that didn't get captured here that you think was really important, that you'd wanna share with everybody?
We did have 24 respondents, so I think that's a good number of people.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't see the LGBTQ on there at all. So-
It was on there. It
Okay.
wasn't that it wasn't mentioned
just-
at all.
It just
yeah.
wasn't like the
Mhm.
emphasis.
Yeah.
Because of the other caucus, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I'd
Okay.
love to hear what other people think. I think a little bit for me because there are like so many economic things that are going on that affect everybody regardless of like different, you know, intersectional demographics and things like that, that there's a big focus, I think, for a lot of people on that. But it was in there. It wasn't
Yeah,
not
okay.
mentioned.
I do think one of the work groups is going to be building out the advocacy agenda for the caucus, and so I think it can be certainly represented in that.
Absolutely.
And it
Well,
should
that's
ca-
one of those collaborations that we can do with
Exactly.
the other caucus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yes, the other caucus is trying to survive the next 2 weeks of getting ready for Pride.
Right.
And then it's gonna
Right.
structure, so that will be the times.
So one last piece of this is we are gonna have a working session of the top 3 priorities that came out of this. So candidate support and voter turnout would be one. Second would be community organizing, building community power. And then the third is advocacy and policy agenda. So those we'll give those options in the working session of breaking out and starting to actually plan action across those 3 things. And then the fourth, we do want to have that bylaws work group, subgroup. We don't feel like that's super urgent to like update those immediately. And so there were a few people that volunteered at the last meeting, and we jotted those down. But if anybody's interested in helping update the bylaws, I think let us know. I think it was Rob, you,
Yeah,
Brajan.
Ben was one, Brajan was.
Yeah, okay. So we're gonna do that kind of in parallel with these other working groups that we're gonna break out in today and start planning action. Okay.
And if you choose a group today, you're not stuck
Yeah,
only doing that for the whole time. This is just, you know, for today, that would be a, you know,
okay.
thing to work on.
Any other comments, questions about the survey?
I think just the one thing is that I didn't explain well is we combined the voter turnout and the supporting candidates one together somewhat because we're like 5 months from an election, and so we're probably not gonna do like an endorsement before the general, because also it probably won't matter in a general election, you'll be
What's that?
endorsing the Democrat, you know, and not the Republican or something, but we thought it could be combined at least in the first year, and if it needs to be separated, it can be.
Okay, Rob, I think you're up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so in the interests of being a group that's oriented around action, we talked in the leadership meeting about what are some upcoming major events in the city where we can have a presence, where we can have an impact. And rather than, because Pride is coming up in just a matter of weeks, we wanted to surface that to the group to just talk about here, rather than form a committee to talk about whether we're going to, right? So we don't have but a few weeks for that. So there's a couple of ways that we can be directly involved. But larger topic, do we as a group want to be involved in the Pride as a group, Pride Festival, versus just each of us individually being a part of the Pride event? So open it up for discussions.
You can march with us.
Yeah.
We got a parade.
Yeah.
So come with us, just follow in line.
Yeah.
I think if we had a banner
Yeah.
with the Progressive Caucus on it, that would be a good way to.
Advertise the group.
Yeah.
So that's an option, yeah.
We could do that.
Does anybody do banner printing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. So my thing is, like, would you rather have, like, people have placards with it up there? Because a banner, we're gonna have the LGBTQ banner for the FCDP Pride, entry. And so having another banner might not be helpful, but maybe some signage.
We had
that
the signs
individuals-
like those ones we sprayed last year, like that we could hold.
Yeah,
up
but
and
I'm
people
talking
could
like
read.
with like progressive
Right,
caucus, you
so
know.
they can
Yeah.
see them on the wall.
As long as it's
I have a
big
whole
enough,
collection of
Yeah.
old campaign yard signs from the primary that, you know, we're all welcome to have. I mean, I've just been hanging on to them for an event, so this would be a perfect one to spray paint them and.
Progressive.
Does the
Yeah.
party
Maybe it
have a
just needs to
banner?
be-
Jenny,
What?
does the party have a banner?
We have lots of banners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So here's what I will say. This is Pride. The LGBTQ caucus should be centered
Right.
Pride.
Yes.
We are there to support
Right.
the caucus.
Right.
So having a banner, I think, is a little bit too much, but
Yeah.
having some signage, you know, like something on
Progressive
theme.
Caucus supports.
Yes,
the
something on theme
LGBT.
supporting, you
Yeah.
know.
idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so that we're there but not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Could we have like little flyers at the booth that have QR
You
codes
would
for the
have to-
caucus?
ask the LGBTQ caucus
Okay,
for that.
okay,
I mean,
so the booth is the LGBTQ caucus's booth.
Okay, so let me explain this. The LGBTQ caucus is newly forming.
Okay,
They do not have like a leadership, they don't really have like a lot of structure. So, FCDP bought a booth and FCDP bought a parade entry. Because we always do, regardless if there's a
Right.
caucus or not. They are forming, they said, okay, we will do the booth, the
Okay.
people that are forming it, they don't have any kind of formal like structure, but they're doing the booth. I am in charge of the parade, because they're like, we can't do everything. So, okay, we're doing the parade, but it's for the caucus.
okay.
So to answer unofficially to that request, there's supposed to be a table for different information
Okay.
within the booth. So that sounds like perfect, cause I know LGBTQ caucus is gonna have a QR code part of their whole experience for people to click on and it takes them somewhere, so. Yes, I would say yes, but Mary Ruth Kennedy is sort of in charge of that
Yeah.
right now, we would check with her, so.
And I've got a call plan with Mary Ruth to talk about exactly this.
They're actually meeting right now, like.
Yeah, and I just
Yeah,
haven't
they
been able
time,
to get
so
to her.
It's a lot of overlap today,
Her and my
so,
schedule,
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, we can find out how we can support them.
Yeah.
Basically.
So what I'm hearing is like, support them and maybe have a sign that says Progressive Caucus supports LGBTQ caucus.
Right.
Okay. All right.
That sounds good, yeah. Some links up there, so a couple of events that are around the Pride Parade, of course. So there's the sign up for the FCDP booth, too many initials. But, and they all have to be in the right order too. So volunteering at Mobilize, right? So you would be in effect volunteering for the LGBTQ caucus to help run the booth there. I'm gonna be there. One of the things I'm working out is I've got a photo booth set up with my iPad So we can do like, fun pride themed photo booth stuff. So working that out with Margaret. And then of course, as Jenny mentioned, the parade march, that's the link for the mobilize for the parade, to march in the parade. And then Ashley Bell is gonna have her own entry in the parade as well. So we're gonna try to get with the pride organizers to see if we can all squish together in the parade, so we're not like, far apart. We can all be one big happy family. Would be nice. So around communications, right now our big means of communications as a group is of course the Facebook group. We would love to have people helping to moderate that group, so if it's something you're familiar with and you're willing to take on yet another moderator task, or you're interested in being a moderator to help the group, we would love to have your help. You can reach out to me or any of the leadership team, and we'll see if I can get you set up with those abilities. And Jenny, I do need to talk to you later about the group, the Facebook group, and some other things we want to be able to do. So, in terms of like internal communications, there's like 8,000 different communications tools, right? Most of the organizations that I'm involved with have moved to Signal as their means of communication. Part of that is ease of use. It looks just like a messaging app does. It's easy to use. You have channels that you can join or disjoin. And the other factor, of course, is security. It is a tool where the messages don't live on a server somewhere, right? So they go directly from my phone to Adam's phone. And once they've arrived, that's it. There's no message history stored in the cloud. And as much as we hate to say it, organizing as a Democrat is becoming more and more risky, right? And so we're thinking about down the road, we want to make sure that we are as secure as we can be in our communications, because while we still have freedom of speech now, we don't know what next year or the year after that is going to be like. So is Signal familiar to everyone? Is everyone comfortable to use that? The intention there being, and I'll give an example, the intention there being that we are able to have conversations and move topics along between meetings. We don't want to just only make progress once a month or twice a month when our committee meets, kind of thing. We want to be able to keep topics moving along. We want to be action-oriented, effective in the community, and to do that, we need to be able to talk to each other. And so that's a good means for that. I've set up a main channel chat for everyone. That's the link, so if you have Signal, you can download. If you don't, you can download it. I'll help you guys get signed in. But then that's the link to go to join that main chat. And so for right now, it does require admin approval, but we know everybody in the room. You're the only ones with the link, so we'll definitely approve you all. And then the plan also is to have a separate channel for each of the committee groups. And the reason I like the communication between events is, so I'm involved in the No Data Center Roll Call. And we were meeting once a week, and we'd make a little bit of progress, and then we'd all go home. And we'd come back next week and we'd make a little progress, and then we'd all go home. And we opened up communications through Signal, and it was like we got fuel injection. It was great. I mean, we made more progress in that next week than we had in the previous month. So, is everybody okay with the use of Signal? Comfortable? Okay, very good. Any other topics around communications or membership or events? Okay.
One thing I was thinking about, should we have a Google folder we share with all members that has meeting minutes, agendas, and presentations?
Yeah, I like that.
All right, so we can work on that too.
Yeah, we do want to be very transparent.
Yeah.
This is a group effort, not top-down leadership.
All right.
All right, so we'll be meeting once a month, and so we've chosen the fourth Wednesday
Last Wednesday.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, it's last one.
Is it last?
Last.
Always,
So if it's
okay.
fifth, there's five, it's the fifth.
Thank you. So the last Wednesday of the month is when we'll meet, and we discussed times. We're thinking 6:30, but wanted to check in and see what people thought, or what people's ideas were about that. And we thought about we can meet here when the space is available, and we've also talked about other possibilities of meeting somewhere out in the public where we could perhaps a coffee shop, or there's a bar downtown, Fair Witness, that's got kind of a large room, or a place like Joy Mongers. It's kind of a beer hall, but they have a big wide open space. So something that would be a little more social, slightly fun. You could maybe get a drink or a snack during, meeting times. And if people have other places that they know of that they want to suggest, any thoughts on that?
So I think for the time we've been meeting at 7, but we were wondering if people actually wanted to meet at 7 or if they actually wanted to meet earlier and not be here until 8:30 at night. So we wanted to open that up, so we didn't just dictate that it was 7 o'clock.
Yeah, 6:30 works for me.
Yeah, 6:30 is
I
fine.
disagree. Working class people, we are a working class group. 6:30 is hard. If they got kids, they got 7 o'clock, it's the optimal hour for people that's working.
I'm working with kids and 7 is really hard for me.
Yeah, I know, sometimes it might get closer to the bedtimes and stuff for kids. I don't know, my child's grown, so.
To be honest, working class people work all shifts.
Yeah, all the time, yeah, that could be,
That's right, till 8 o'clock at
I
night.
know the time's hard, I know 5, yeah.
It is good for us to think about that.
Yeah, for
It's an important
100%.
Aspect of
There's a lot of
keeping
groups
it.
that.
I'm telling you, I'm in the community. I know what those folks, I know what they tell us.
Is that on part of the
7 o'clock is where they are.
6:45 is a compromise then?
Yeah, well, the other option to talk about too would be for summer months, warmer months, lighter evenings. We
That's
true.
try
Yeah, we
it
can
a little
adjust, yeah.
earlier, and then
7
for
o'clock is
when
where they
school
are.
goes back,
See, but yeah.
people want a little bit later time, or vice versa.
Well, I think it's
mean,
vice versa, right?
Right.
When it's
You want it later?
later, it would make sense to
Do it
meet later.
Okay.
And then if it starts getting darker earlier, we can
Do
rethink
we
that.
wanna take a vote, maybe?
I think that's a good
Fill off
idea.
that, Adam. I make a motion to take a vote.
Second it.
Okay,
What are the times?
yeah, what all options do we want?
Do we all agree 6 o'clock is way too early?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel,
Good, because I work till 6.
I have work till 6 too, that's, yeah.
How many people are in this group? Like total, not just people in the room?
I think we have like 39 so far on, is that right? 38, 39?
I don't know.
Do we want them to weigh in on what time?
We wanna
meet
publish a
that might
survey
be
on the
useful
Facebook
for
group?
them?
If we're
Yeah,
gonna
for
vote,
sure.
that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. How about we'll say for next month, we'll stick with 7, since that's what we've done, is that okay? And then we can kinda reach out to members.
Okay, this is what I wanna say, I wanna caution. This group is mostly white.
Yeah.
This group makes decisions based on what white people want. This caucus is for all working class people. Working class people live in those communities that I'm in, and I'm telling you guys, they can't get here at 6:30. They just can't. So you can take all the surveys you want, but I happen to be in conversation with those folks.
Please encourage them to sign up and vote for the 7 o'clock PM.
Absolutely. That's something that's a value system that other folks have. These groups that we're supporting, this caucus is supporting working class people. The working class people don't come to meetings. Working class people are not being heard. So I'm here to speak for them, and I'm here to tell you, 6:30 is not good for them.
Okay.
Heard.
Okay, so our motion on the floor is to, are we reversing that motion to do a poll, or are we gonna actually vote on a time?
Are there others opposed to doing a poll?
I am.
When you say a poll, what do you?
They're gonna put
I mean, I
something
know
on
what a poll
Google,
is, but-
and they're gonna send something throughout Google, and I guarantee you, those communities that we're talking about will not be on Google. They won't be in that survey. So that survey is gonna be skewed,
We
just
have-
like this vote will be.
Rudy, I mean, who are you speaking to about? Because we had the meeting tonight at 7, and we have a decent turnout.
Yeah, I had something to do, that's why I got here late. But look around.
Okay.
Look at the group.
So how are we going to get
Who's here?
the people who we want to reach? Are they gonna be members only, or are we gonna go outside of that for people who are not members and we want them to be
Yeah.
members of the group?
Exactly. How are we gonna get to those folks that this group is set up for? How are we gonna reach them?
Yeah, so
What are
we
we
have
gonna
to,
do?
yeah,
Can we not change the time, later on if that becomes necessary?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. 7 o'clock is the time.
Right, tonight's meeting is at 7, and that's why, you know, if this is a good time for people, I'm happy to do 7. And, you know, I don't mind doing 7, and if people can come at 7, we want a lot of people to come.
Right.
We want diversity, for sure. I don't know that, you know, sometimes people, the issue is not 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock or any of that. It's just having enough time to do anything other than work. When I was a single mom, and when I had a kid, I didn't have time to go to any meetings.
So why don't we leave the meetings at 7?
Yes.
As we restructure and do bylaws.
Yeah.
And what needs to be done for the group, and also be presenting it to new members that they are welcome to come, and then we can reevaluate the time.
Yeah, and as we form some of these working groups that we're gonna start with tonight, it doesn't have to be that tonight is the only time people can work on things. So there may be people that can't come to a meeting, but they are part of a working group and they meet throughout the month at other times or communicate via signal, like Rob mentioned. Because we do want to bring everybody in, and not everybody is gonna be able to come to a meeting. So you might have a group of people and they say, all right, you go to the meeting and speak up for us. And, you know, like you're doing in this case, you know, if you're speaking for someone there.
Well,
You're still gonna have
I will
lives,
continue to speak up for them.
Yeah.
And I don't know who it offends, but I will speak for that group.
Yes,
Yeah.
Karen?
I have a question, Rob. So
Yeah.
you said, is this live?
It is.
Or- So, that means a link went out with this to let individuals know?
Yeah, and that will be, so that account that is a Progressive Caucus live stream account. The goal is eventually to get it to YouTube, but you have to have a certain number of subscribers before you can do live events. But that link will be persistent, so every meeting, our goal is to stream at that link, and we'll post it in the Facebook group. So if people can't make it to the meeting, they will be able to attend virtually, through the live stream.
And I think that goes back to where.
And the recording will be available later to.
Yes, which I think is great to also go back with what you stated, Adam, about the agendas in the meetings accompany this once it is filed. But I think it goes back to Rudy's statement. I think it is another tool to utilize for individuals to be able to join us so that we're not intentionally or unintentionally excluding individuals from participating, but to give other options. Because we do understand that people are working, they got kids, they got church, they got volleyball, they got soccer, they got all this, football practice is starting, right? So to ensure that we are creating opportunities to include and engage others, I think it is a great tool to have this in this era that we're in with technology. you know.
It kind of seems like though, it seems like the main group meeting, record it, let people watch it, whatever. What's more gonna be more important is the flexibility on the times for the working groups.
Right.
And then they can just set their own times.
Yeah, for
Good point, Michael.
Wait, what did you say?
He was talking about, will you repeat that for Linda?
Yeah,
Oh, I was just saying as far as like everybody meeting goes, it, you record it, people can watch it whenever they want to, whatever, but it's like the real meat of everything is gonna be the working groups. And then at that point, the group itself can actually just set their own time and date.
But I would just say it's building relationships, though, I think is really important.
Yeah.
And I think with the big group meeting, you build relationships, so I would want to bring that up.
Yeah, we definitely want people to be able to come, but whatever, as we'll find out what times.
And I think location too could help with that.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, and
town?
I wanted to bring that up. I mean, we're in the north part of town, we're, let's be honest, in the white part of town, right?
Well,
And-
actually, this is central.
Okay.
If you look at the county,
Yeah.
we're very intentional about where
Oh,
we want
okay.
to put our
Okay.
office.
And it's on the edge, there's.
Yeah.
I don't think it's perceived though that way.
Right.
I know, it's not
100%.
perceived
It's
that,
not
because that's
perceived
where
that way.
downtown is, but if you do the mileage from all the different
Yeah.
directions, it is pretty much in the middle of the county, bordering right here,
Right.
just
But
a
that's
couple
not
blocks away,
that's not my understanding is what the perception is though.
I understand.
So, anyway.
When you
But-
change that perception, is
But
one of
if
the
we,
things.
if we rotated the meeting places
Right.
and deliberately chose different neighborhoods,
Yeah.
that might send a different message and
Yep.
might help us to get
Easier to
out
get
of
to.
our comfort zones, which is not easy.
Yeah, we have a couple people, go ahead.
What's funny, is Wednesday a good day?
Yeah.
For everybody?
There are no great days, 'cause everybody's busy. But I think we had decided early on in the last meeting that Wednesdays, in the inaugural meeting, that Wednesdays were one of the better days.
So that was us.
Yeah, it was because Tuesday and Thursday was so busy.
Yeah.
We just
A lot of
chose Wednesday.
organizations meet on
But that's just me.
It doesn't matter to me, I was just wondering if Wednesday was working well, since we were talking about time, so I'll do it Saturday, Sunday, any day.
Yeah, I think, we did talk
No
about
Mondays.
it when we had the first meeting, and
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it
Okay,
kinda
so
landed on
It works
this
for
day.
everybody.
To put it a different way, people decided that Wednesday sucked the least, so.
Let's see, hump day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carrie, you had your hand up.
Oh, yes.
To go back to relationship building, right? I think, relationships are key, right? And we wanna be intentional about people being included, right? And so I can say that that's what I feel in this room, right? Is that we're all on the same page, and I think as we continue to move forward, we continue to be intentional about our efforts and inclusivity. And how do we do that? Then we have to be intentional about inviting someone with us every time we come, right? And so that's how we grow. That's how we show people that we care about people. Where we are today in this climate, it's about people. We are all hurting, we're all experiencing the same things. It may, and it may feel differently, but it's hitting us all. And I think that those are ways that we can combat some of those issues, is being intentional about giving somebody a ride, right? And so then we can dispel the ideology about where we're located and that it is a barrier. And so when you bring individuals in, they feel welcome and invited, then we can kind of change perceptions and then grow the work that we're trying to do together.
So what we need to make a commitment, everybody to bring at least one person to the next meeting?
I don't see damn thing wrong with that, cause then we'll go out of this room and then we have to find somewhere else, right? And then, ma'am.
Yeah, right.
Yes, ma'am, I mean, that's how we can do it, we can bring someone with us. This is how we grow us. And so we don't have to see us all the time. We can grow and then we can build our groups, our working groups, and then we're not missing anyone because we have those individuals at the table utilizing their voices.
Now, we need to focus in on younger people.
That one too.
Very much.
I mean, well, then we also need to allow the younger people to speak, because I'm sitting here watching everyone tell me what working parents wanna do, and I might be one of the only ones in the room, so but with young kids, And so I do wanna just point that out, is that it's often the older people that are telling us what we should do for working people,
Yeah, but no, I mean, no pun intended, but I'm talking about like 20s. I mean, people,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
I'm
saying?
39, girl, I haven't even hit 40.
You might need to see that slide about the
Yeah, sorry,
fighting and all of that, again,
Yeah, I
like
mean,
to be,
yeah.
the burnout.
So what would you want to tell us?
I mean, I am really truly gonna make any time work. I get married on Saturday and I'm here. And so I think there's a point of when people wanna be here, they'll be here. And I do think we do have to respect the people that are here. And I hear you, Rudy, but also there was a whole bunch of people at our last meeting that came out to vote for our president and vice president that I think were told to come to vote, and they're not here tonight. And so I do want to make sure that we are considerate of the people that are actually here and want to take action, and we don't spend 2 hours trying to pick a meeting time.
Well, I think the meeting time was already picked.
Well, you picked it, and we're trying to bring it up to the group. The group picked something different, and then you were upset about it.
I wasn't upset. I was just.
You were loud.
I wanted to just dovetail, like, we were on the same wavelength. What about sending out an email before the like 2 or 3 days before each meeting and, finding out if anybody needs a ride?
I think that's a great idea.
And then if there's people who want to sign up to be, like, I have the ability to take at least, I could pick up 4 more people, you know?
I could do that too, and I was wondering.
I would pick people up on the way here, then, you know, even if they're just getting off work, I mean, honestly, you know, we could figure it out, like, we could pick them up at work and bring them and take them back to their work, and then go home, you know, like, whatever we need to do.
Do you drive a van or something?
I do.
But I still think it's a good idea for us to commit to bringing at least one person every time and try and focus in on younger people. And it's not that the people who are here are being excluded, we're adding to the people who are here, we're growing. It's not to exclude anyone here, that was the point that was being made, but that's how you grow. And sometimes people need to be nudged. They need to know that we really want you to come on, come with me. You probably like it, you know, just check it out. You know, and then we have an interesting meeting and they'll wanna come back hopefully or what have you. But we can't just say, well, if they wanted to be here, they would be here, because that's not how it works.
Well, wait a minute, Jenny had her hand up.
I wasn't finished.
I'm so sorry, my
I'm just trying to
love.
make this meeting interesting, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I'm good. Thank you.
I was just gonna deviate for a second and just say there's another barrier to people participating, that's childcare.
Good
So
point.
we need to start thinking about like, what are all the barriers? We don't have to go through them all tonight, but just start thinking about some of those. I'd be willing to take my time and go sit in the hallway or go sit in the other room or wherever we're at and play with kids. I do it all day. And,
I'll teach
you
kids
know,
yoga during the
Yeah.
These are new
Yeah.
kids.
Can
I make a proposal? We do have a working group that is gonna be focused on community organizing. And so could we give that group this work of thinking about how we bring more people in and we continue to evaluate access to this meeting?
Yeah.
Because I wanna get into the action planning, which is the next step, so is everybody good with that proposal?
But I will say this before you move on. As a person who has been the president of multiple organizations within our party, I will say how I have been able to galvanize people to come in and do the work. The first thing is they had to see me doing the work. They had to see me enjoying what I was doing. Then I found out things that they enjoyed, and then I did that, and that's how I brought them in. So we want to think about that too, of what we do. And if we bring somebody into the meeting and the meeting is going like this, I can guarantee you they will not be back. I've been here for 5 minutes and I would prefer to leave. And I love this work. So I want us to be mindful of the energy that we bring in the room, because we have about 20 people, I'm just gauging, right now. If you make this a less desirable environment, this 20 won't return. So be mindful of the energy that you bring in the room when you come.
Absolutely.
Okay?
It's not personal, guys. It's not personal. It's
So, That's what I would say.
And the people that came late did not see the survey results, but one, I will say, one of the slides, the things that people were really worried about was burnout and infighting. And that was stuck out on all the surveys, so if you missed that at the beginning,
You're right on point.
Well,
that's something we need to remember in all conversations, or there it is, so.
Okay.
So for now, our next meeting is on June 24th. It's a Wednesday, 7 o'clock. We'll meet here. We'll all bring someone.
Wouldn't it be the third, oh wait, never mind, that's not 31.
And, yeah. And that's it.
All right, that's Sarah. Thank you,
Okay.
Madam Secretary.
Okay.
Way to hog all the time.
I think you need a
Now the fun part, so, we wanna break into working groups, we'll reduce the time, so we won't be here too late. Let's do like 15 to 20 minutes. So our 3 top priorities were candidate support and voter turnout. If you're interested in that, who's facilitating that?
Carrie.
Carrie, we're maybe in the back.
We'll meet
corner?
over here in the hole.
Okay. The second was, community organizing, and that is Rob.
Is that me? Okay. Yep.
And then the third is
I mean, yeah,
advocacy, and Rob can be up here in the front. And then the third is Jen, and it is advocacy and like policy positions. So you wanna go in the back corner? Sure. Okay. All right, so pick a group, and we're breaking out and discussing,
Who's on 2? You on 2?
We have some goals.
The prompts are, we want you to report out your conversation, so pick somebody that's gonna be able to do that. What are some upcoming actions we can take as a caucus related to that priority area? And we want these groups to be meeting between now and the caucus meetings to keep working on action plans, so we can be reporting out kind of proposed actions with each of these 3 areas at the next meeting. That sound good? Questions? Okay. Great. So community organizers, advocacy, and candidate support. Rob.
Only thing is, we did those numbers also from one.
Okay.
I feel right at home. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we have 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I think.
And you can jump around.
Like some upcoming actions the caucus should take. I want to see this, what issue you should caucus. Oh, okay. Schedule your next one. Here, you want me to write it? We've got our meetings the regular caucus meeting. I have thought about this a lot because I knew ahead of time, I don't want to speak here. So I want you guys, because you said, hey, I want to be a part of advocacy and policies. There must be a reason. So I want to hear why, and, yeah, just so we are here, you decide to come over and be a part of this.
But my, this is
Get
my
your seat.
block.
No, yeah, I mean, that's.
So that is what the survey kind of, so that is not what we have to choose.
Those were just the most.
Yeah, those were things that people, that wasn't even what people brought up about policy, it was just like in comments throughout. And so I kind of raised them up, but I think our job is is to figure out.
Do that.
And I don't know that it's to figure out what types of
But,
policy,
you
I
know,
think
at
it
the
might
same
be even
time,
bigger
you
than
know,
that, but like, how do we even wanna affect that? You know?
What do you mean by action?
Yeah, like it's maybe at a higher level.
Is it a
than
written
that.
policy we want to?
Press conference with or
Prior to
something?
that, we also have to identify the.
So why don't we just start like,
Single issue
just brainstorming, so just like throwing out things you're saying.
I got you.
Really.
Yeah.
I think it would for universal, accessible, childcare as well as universal free care. I think that just lacks into a lot of what the other people, like
I have my little
living
sheet
wage
that was
and,
passed out on what
and
progressives are, of course, I can't read.
you know,
This is not progressive.
And as well as universal pre-K.
And yeah, we're all gonna say.
One thing I think we should focus on, we're gonna focus this on within, or do both within the party, both in taking the platform, or we're gonna do this outside of that as well first? Because there's both two routes we can take with this.
Can you expand on that?
For example, I said on the Plaza Rose Committee, we're tasked with co-creating the party platform. So that's gonna be a situation of, that literally what the party's values are, what, exactly. And I'm, ironically enough, I'm actually on labor and economy, so.
Positions
that
stand on.
Well, a lot of what we're doing is, looking at resolutions that pass in the past, crafting all together. But what we can do is, if you want, you can come and publicly speak at these meetings saying what you want to include in there, and if we can find a way to put it in there, with anything we pass, we can pick and choose to an extent what we want to put in there or not.
But he makes a good
What's
point.
the
I know
one reason you would?
how I am with the Episcopal Church, I was in conventions, we would draft a resolution, wasn't in line with what the Episcopal Church was. And so you make a good point, is it in line?
Well, I was really here just kind of.
And exactly, and that's partially gonna change with water, which is saying what resolutions we can do. One of the biggest things we can do is advocating, resolutions you want to do.
And I bumped into this.
And actually, ironically enough, we wanted.
Like to take the picture.
Everybody.
Oh, yeah, and vote them on, and one thing what we can do is petition the state to move forward with a resolution at the Plaza Rose Committee, and that's a position of policy we can take on a certain issue. Now, if we resolution, that goes in the back, and that's the party platform, so we can actually petition the state caucus, because they actually have a seat on that, and they get to bypass the state procedure.
And it's like,
Even
thanks.
if they're not
Like,
prepared.
Now, that's a good point, but in the last convention, months ago, there was a resolution that they didn't seem to carry through any
Already been
process or something.
Whether people, a lot of the precincts will literally at the precinct before the convention
So
try
we
to
got-
hurry
I
it
think
up.
it's
I think we have a really good opportunity.
So,
And what I'm talking about is, we can do that as well. There is the thing though, since we have to see that we don't have to go to that, we could petition the state caucus and have to say, if we get us, have something we want, bring it to them, they can actually petition it and avoid that, and bypass that whole process.
I know we only have a limited amount of time tonight, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to override what you're saying.
Yeah,
But like if we're gonna have a progressive caucus, then.
And so I also wanna think about like
That should be the top priority and
Yeah.
for
let's
tonight.
develop a roadmap.
So I was like,
Like, I don't just think that, I also think like,
So I was one of those guys that never.
how can we take a
So it's
really
like,
great
well,
housing
we're gonna
policy
do
and
this
make
for
sure that it's for everybody, expertise for city council, state, and that we're actually like building it, so then, whatever someone's running for in the Democratic Party, we go, hey, let's look at your housing policy, here's the part that has been reviewed, are you willing to put that in? And then that becomes
Or-
how you
or
endorse, and
agreement.
that, you know, like that
When I was
can
thinking
feed into
around in
so
my head, I have to
many
look
other
more stuff into it.
things.
It's like a
It can
501c3.
be, you know, so like I wanna
So
think
it can
also
be
just like
associated
what,
with
not what are the things
And
we
to
care
use
about
that as a
policy wise, but
feedback
also like what do
to
we
support
wanna
this
do
conference to
to
go
actually make that policy
like the 501c4
and stick
can actually go into our
you
high
know,
school.
support Forsyth County in a
Yeah.
meaningful way.
So, but I've got like a whole list of stuff in my head that if you can separate the
Why
city and stuff
progressive?
outside.
And I think that's, identify those things that don't bring it on.
And then use that as your vehicle to actually push these actions. Just doing the straight political stuff. Or nothing. It's like, or nothing.
I think we're gonna,
We don't want that.
We are. And we did the last thing.
We're gonna do bylaws for sure, we're going to show up.
So I actually really like that. I'm gonna say it, Julian told me this today,
That's
I'm
okay.
not sure I understand, but like, some of it is like
We don't want
re-messaging to our
candidates to
current
At this moment
policies
in
and
my life,
actually
my dream
for our
job would be
support,
just
understand that and feel like it applies to them.
And I think
So it could be
that
like.
that
a-
will happen.
I thought about it, but
We gotta
You know,
look
and
at
just,
that.
and so, like I said, instead of saying,
identifying and establishing relationships. Not thinking go without relationship, because being
So I'd
able to
rather
see who
honestly
the
work-
person actually is as opposed to who they say they are.
So
So
your
that's what
your
we-
concerns or issues.
I was gonna ask you, do you feel like that we need to say that sometimes that we have a
mostly,
connection or we
but
have
also
to
just the whole.
Being
Yeah,
intentional
okay.
about developing.
Getting people elected might help.
Yeah.
And we all know
So we're gonna put, we're gonna move to,
8 years from now, if we want to pay the immigrant family just lost all their funding. And it's killed the USAID. They can't wait that long.
So
You know, it's like 61%
I like everyone.
What I was hearing, and I kind of love
Big
this,
fan of that.
is the relationship that when we endorse, we also have that freedom and power to.
501c3 status.
I
But I mean, all
So if we're
501c3s
like
can't
working with
do
somebody
is
that we have
And
identified
lobbying
as,
is
like what we thought
to
was
be
progressive, and then we start
advocating
that
for a
they
specific
are
bill.
actually not.
I read
or
everything.
that
Trying to help
we
elect
as
a
a
specific
caucus
bill.
have
So you can have, you can, as a 501c3, you can say, I believe
to
in
withdraw our
diversity.
support
We need to have university leaders. I believe in affordable. Like, so there's a lot, and even 501c3s can use 10% of their capacity to do lobbying. And so there's specific definitions of what lobbying is. And it's pretty narrow, the parameters of lobbying versus activism. So I think a lot of 501c3s just don't know, like, the rules.
But that turns into that whole, when I have to go convince them. Just shoot. Yeah, you know, just, but at some point you have to stop asking the people that
We're gonna move on to.
And one of the things when we talk about developing and maintaining relationship is we must look at history.
So just constantly going,
History of
begging them.
and that's something
Even
that
if
Donald
it is
Trump
just
always.
Yeah, that was one of the local things, you know, but going to Eli,
It's their
Because what we're gonna do
and you're just,
is eventually,
now all these
we're gonna have people that's gonna be able to do this.
you know, on
While
policy,
we over
who are
here,
making
and
things
somebody else
being
is
corrupt,
thinking
going to
they
them
need
saying,
but
you know,
we're
you
gonna
just stop.
figure out who you are. Because
So
you may
if you
say
look
them
at
and know them in a
you
way
said, it's
that
like,
we
we
don't.
need to get
So you have to be able to come back
different
and
groups
say,
across the community more comfortable pushing, like pushing the envelope
So
on
now,
what they're
I would
comfortable
I
with.
think they're also, I mean, this is coming from me running for
Well,
office right now, but there
that's
has to
one
be a willingness to
I just wouldn't consider it a primary. Because I mean, that's another
You
one of
know,
those, well,
like, we
you
are
just get
so
somebody else to do it.
partisan right now, and I do realize we are part of the Democratic Party, and like, I'm not trying
I
to
mean-
suggest that we like,
But
I'm
like I
running
said,
as a
it's-
Democrat, you know, like, I'm not trying to
I bumped
suggest
into
that,
them.
but I do think that that's something the progressives can maybe do that, like, you
You know,
know,
and
county party
I've had
can't.
people tell me, calm down,
And I don't
go
mean
after
it
the
in a
city
cool way or
managers or
anything like that, but just
I'm not
like
gonna go
point
out
out when
and fight.
things
It's
really
just-
aren't for the working class. last one.
When you're just
I mean, there are
starting
so many
companies,
candidates in our county that take
you know,
energy money, and they're Democrats,
you
you
know,
know, like, I can name them all, but I'm
and-
not going to. And so it's like, that's why, like, it's really hard to run for office and someone go, oh, well, I mean, like, of course you say
And
that.
I also think there's just
And, you
too
know,
much
like, you just
saturation.
get divided
Like,
into
for
this
instance,
box, and there's gotta be a way to be a better part of the box, I guess,
But
you know,
actually,
like,
actually-
be a shining light part of the box. Yeah.
Understanding that
But I stay right there.
whether they're being individual or collective.
Because everybody.
And again, that will vary
I was
from
out.
our
I was thinking about Christmas tree. No, that was the problem. Because no kings landed on the same day, so they just attached. So now this year, sidewalks. Yeah.
Oh, I know, I mean, it will be a financial hardship for me if I was just like, you
Now
know, cause I'll have to go part-time in my well-being job.
Well, no, we're here,
So,
except
yeah.
for 75% of us are walking back there.
What have they done for those issues that are important to you?
I'll just, yeah, I'm ranting, I'm beyond ranting at this point. But
For that aren't just so, that it's.
I think it's the,
We're a decade
probably
away,
a slightly
what
more
is
in-depth
something?
Yes, and you might wanna look at the capabilities of the candidates being.
And maybe it can be a combo, like maybe we do a low-hanging fruit, a really complex one that we're gonna really fight at for a year across multiple kind of plans,
I
and
honestly
something in the
think
middle or something, you know, yeah.
put in the room, let them duke it out, whoever walks out is the winner, and then we'll just adopt whatever they agree on, because United
Initiatives of where.
Utility, all utilities data centers.
That's under candidate preparation because what have you done to prepare yourself to be in this?
Come on.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I
Yeah, I know, but I'm wondering if.
I think we all wanna get into action.
That's what
What
I
are
was
we
gonna say.
doing to help, not only help her get elected, but help her.
At the last meeting, I
She
fully
knows
expect.
what she can actually do.
But I guess that might be very.
Yeah, I just don't want us to.
They're against
We're
it.
not doing what candidates who are already in place and saying.
They approved it anyway, it should be close, the course rolled it back, and they're getting ready to
You
refund.
never win if we base it on.
Experience,
But
right?
it's,
And so
yes,
what I
100% that
one
would
of
be
the
right,
things that
Well,
there are individuals who have a desire to serve.
I'm gonna go listen in a little bit to you, Chris. I want you to say.
Me too.
So there's one thing for me to say,
Friend that comes
diehard
into the meeting next time. I'll make sure I get your number. Wait, you said.
So I think it goes back to making sure that we have those candidates in line with residents.
you need to go join that,
Now,
oh
I
yeah,
know
that group.
that you support what's
Yeah.
important to me.
I'm gonna listen to it, so, thanks for sharing.
Yes, I'm glad you
You weren't
did.
ranting,
Oh, no, I was.
I'm talking
No,
about.
you were fine, you were fine.
Hey, I appreciate it.
All of those things go, so you can't just be trained and not experienced, you can't just be passionate and not prepared. So it's all of those
You have that
Yes,
experience to be
ma'am.
able to deliver,
Yes,
to actually deliver.
But even if you don't have experience, if you've been trained, if we're helping you
prepare.
think it through.
Well, training experience to me is about the same.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you know, if you're trained and you have the experience, you have this is your
It's
training.
like lining,
Can you
so
put
that
back
like
up what
lining your
we're
candidate
supposed
up
to have
with-
Yeah,
ready?
sure.
Yes, exactly.
I
And
think,
that's it, you know, because,
I mean, data centers touches on cost of living.
and it is, and it's, that's gonna require us again.
But there's a quick action thing too that can feel like a win,
What else
you
is
know,
happening,
and-
can help us support our candidates and, you know, help us move from here to here and then here to here because they go hand in hand. So what do you guys feel that we have done?
5 minutes?
We're good. We're good. Yeah, we're good.
Could I interject one idea that I think,
I would just add the housing units rates, cause I think for a lot of people, housing is like.
Yes, ma'am.
It's about the midterm.
It's about
A lot of
midterm.
housing is
Yeah,
running.
primary business.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
we've
so
been,
I think tenants
sort of
rates and housing are,
talking
should
about
go
this issue,
together.
but maybe not so directly. It's also about who we are as supporters.
And I mean,
So
education is
if we
huge
want
right
to
now, and it can include early childhood. I know that's your
connect
passion,
with
and it's
the
also one of mine.
community, we have to be
Yeah.
reliable
But like, you know,
and
there's a
be
lot
sincere.
going on
And we have to know
with
who the
education, and I do
candidate
think
is,
there's like
and if it's
inequity
10
going
miles,
on
we
into
have to
it.
be
Oh,
able
no
to
question.
articulate
Yeah, no
why
question.
we support that person. And I have
But
found,
see,
yeah, I
there's a
ran
part
for
of me
school
that
board, and one of the things
education
that
should
I
not be
discovered,
political.
even though I didn't win,
And so
one thing that I
putting,
discovered was
this is a
that
Democrat,
you can
that's all.
Yeah,
somebody
no, I
You
get
know what I'm
that.
saying?
because
So,
you
and I'm still
support
working in
someone.
the education
So a lot
realm,
of
trying
voters
to
don't
get my
know anything
vision out
about any
there,
of the
but,
candidates. I had a guy tell me he was going to vote for me because he
but
met
something like like excessive
Just because he met me.
helping
And see that, and see this right here goes right to the report. Because I heard that I would really, I didn't run for office, I was a campaign manager, but I heard it as well. And that's why it is important for
mothers.
first,
Have
for
you
you
heard
to
of Mothers
understand
First?
what
It's
is your,
it's a movement
who
going on right
speaks
now.
to your issue.
Really interesting.
Who is that
About
individual,
it.
and how can they help affect change, right? So this is what this is what we have.
It's really the mothers united.
I think maybe address it just a few bullets because these are very intentional and sensitive.
Anyway, and I did send something.
So do you maybe that?
But I agree.
Did you get everybody's
Yeah.
name? Just like
Right,
Richard?
right now, I know you want to have
But I'll write them down.
candidates to go out.
I should write them down.
Well, right, I think you need to create sincere one-on-one relationships with voters. It is a lot better to convince one person to
well, it's
vote than it is
what-
to talk to 10
I'm still
people to
learning
vote.
about mothers.
Someone
We
told me
need information about these candidates, so we can.
Yeah, so we need things like interview candidates that we want.
And then it would just be affordable and accessible childcare. Right now, it's like out of the second line.
right, but what they told me was that,
Do we just wanna phrase with paid maternity leave, that might hold there?
but also.
Well, it's more than maternity leave, it's after the child's born.
They gotta understand local politics.
Well,
They
I
gotta
guess,
understand.
yeah, I guess, I don't,
Well, yeah, cause
I include that staying home with the child.
First I would say
Family leave, family leave would be better. And then that can encompass fathers as well, do that, and that holds better, cause then then they're like, well, what about fathers? Exactly.
And one other thing I'd like us to
Well,
support
Yes,
is
I
that
have
because I almost
I'll
never
feel
get to
that
talk about.
we must
I feel like it
eliminate
always
the
gets kind
cheat
of pushed
sheet.
down lower on the
Oh,
totem
It's
pole.
very
Saying
expensive
that's
to
trying
people,
to miss difference
and the
to
cheat
people,
sheets
and I
are
feel
not
like it's
fair
something
to
every
really
person
get
will eventually deal
candidates.
with is disability.
So this is gonna be.
Yes.
I mean, our disability policy and the way we handle things.
Did you get everybody's names?
Let's make the cheat sheet like another, don't call it a cheat sheet, or don't make
The cheat
something
sheets
like
are
that.
illegal.
What is a cheat sheet?
It's a cheat sheet, it's those sheets that you get that
But I'm
people
almost
try and give
wondering
you
if
at
we
the
could
polls,
like
you
tie it
already
in
have
with like
names
a
on
lot of
for
people
every
that work.
position.
Essentially
And
one
people are-
side.
yeah, and people are even
Sometimes
telling
it's like
you
the
have
right
to.
thing tide moves all ships.
A lot of people
think
come to
so,
the
so
polls
you
and they
can-
want
you all
those
can
sections
like
and we're
discuss
not
Body
gonna
benefits from it, and so like, maybe it is like a subcategory of butter trans, disabled, or, you know, whatever, and like, by having good healthcare policy for them, or for, you know, everyone benefits from that
And he
kind of thing.
confirmed that
And
for me,
well, and
that
there's
the
that
cheat sheets are
organization now
illegal.
called
So in the
Excel,
midterms,
it's
not okay for us to be handing out the Democratic candidates?
It's,
I think they were pre-filled ballots.
yeah, the pre-filled,
And it's totally
Yeah.
ignorant.
that's illegal.
So you could you do it if it doesn't look like a ballot? Is that was that the illegal part?
Oh, yes, so if it doesn't,
It's not an actual ballot.
Also, I was
It
going
don't
to
print out the ballot.
but I'm not in Georgia, which I didn't.
Because those are so helpful.
Oh, here.
Oh, no, you know, not that it has to be a ballot, but just somebody.
I did not feel. If something falls through, I am like, I mean, no, I will get us ready to go, but you know, like if someone wants to be, if someone wants to be the one, someone wants to organize us in some way, it does not have to be.
Did we get the cheat sheet?
Yes, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. We're done.
Okay, let's move back in.
Yes, ma'am, yes.
All right, thanks y'all.
What you say.
It would just be nice.
because you're gonna.
Yeah, because they'll tell people that this is for the Democratic Party nominee. Like I was elected as the Democratic Party nominee for Senate, and they did not have my name on it, and people did not realize that I was the Democratic Party.
It's like a lot.
Yes,
The
yes,
room's
ma'am.
at
All right, so we're gonna go. You okay? Be careful.
Yeah.
He's military vet.
How do we want to decide on our voting? So one, yes.
Just. We are gonna put that on
No, thank you, I appreciate you, thank you.
Share with everybody.
That's just Google Drive. All workers union strike within the party. Yeah, if we wanted to do it, we could.
We're gonna strike one more time too.
No, so what I'm talking about.
But it's not pronounced the way it's spelled.
So, are all y'all gonna get on schedule?
Yeah, I think
Can I get a
maintaining the list is.
And then can I say that?
Yeah, they'll be.
Yeah.
My name is proper.
That would be better for me.
I also have the. You are? Open to what you guys want.
I just saw I won't forget that name.
Okay, can I really quickly get y'all's phone numbers so I can invite you to the city first? Andy, I have yours, Linda, I have yours.
336.
But I think I meant something, so I can.
Oh, this is 2 different times.
703, 8878.
I know, right?
Yeah, I think, no, I mean, it will, but just don't, you know, I don't, like, yes. I want to do whatever I can.
Cheat sheets? I have it. Well, the ones that it's like a sample ballot. So yeah. All right, we're going back.
I do also think that like, we should probably not
So you would come over and like back up.
Michael, I can.
All right. I'm gonna try to get QR code. Okay.
I think,
Ready to report out?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's have group 1.
Alright.
Carrie's group, who's reporting out?
I am.
Okay.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay, bring it. How long do I have?
You have 1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute?
Maybe 2 minutes.
Talk fast.
Yeah, maybe.
I need more than 1 or 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Really? That's just not, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Okay, highlight.
And I'm gonna just like, please not stick this on the. Stick it over here.
There we go.
It's a graphic and it tends to pull.
Wasn't me.
I know, I don't.
It was, it was
Wasn't me.
It's okay.
I didn't do it.
Sometimes they're like super sticky and then they start to pull.
Thank you. Okay, we are the group that is focusing on candidate support. And we have a lot of notes here that you're welcome to come up and read afterwards. What I want you to know is that we are very interested in not only supporting candidates who are progressive, so one of our tasks is figuring out exactly what that, I mean, some kind of litmus test so that we can really focus. Not that we won't support other candidates as time draws near, but progressive, this caucus is focused on progressive for a reason. We want to identify candidates that are critical, we're going to vet them, and then also reserve the right to remove our endorsement if we start working with them and find out that they're not progressive. How much time do I have?
1 minute.
Okay. Also, we want to work with the candidates. We're still figuring out what that's gonna look like, okay, Jen? So I'm just saying, like, we're figuring out what that looks like. One of the
I can
ideas
canvas
that
by
we
myself
had,
almost every day, I'm good.
one of the ideas that we had is maybe potentially having a community event where we invite the community, and it's sponsored by the Progressive Caucus, and we invite the progressive candidates to come meet the community. So that's an idea in the making. Voter turnout, we want to, and that's part of this engaging the voters. We want to build relationships with the voters and really know, we need to have a clear understanding of what the candidates believe so that when we're talking to people and we're building relationships with them, because relationships is like our key word, that when we're building relationships with them, we can tell them, like, what's important to you? Okay, here's how our candidate aligns with what is important to you. And no cheat sheets. You're welcome.
All right, thank you.
Is it okay if I explain my shirt? Does anybody know this shirt? I got it online. Foxglove, Daisy, Tulip. You'll figure it out.
I love it.
I love it too.
Thank you, Dave.
F, Donald.
Yeah.
Okay, who's the second group?
That's the QR for the main signal chat. Which was
It's a lovely way to get an unlovely message.
we lost our spokesperson.
I can wear it around my mother-in-law and she has no idea.
I need one from my mother-in-law.
We have a ways to go as the community organizing committee about defining what it means to community organize. We also talked about how difficult it is to organize in the community with no funding. So that is something we will probably need to figure out. Jenny was very gracious and said we could have all the money that we want from the Democrat Party. So we're all.
I don't think that's
Oh,
exactly.
that was my takeaway. That's what my notes said.
That's what he reminded us. That's how he heard it.
Jenny did offer to help with things like literature. We talked about, one of the first things that Q said was visibility attracts, right? So as we're out in the community, one of the important things is that people know that we are the Progressive Caucus. So one of the easiest ways to do that is with t-shirts.
Yes.
And so we are working on a path to get everyone inexpensive t-shirts for the Progressive Caucus. So that's one of the things. Lit is another thing. So if we table, we're gonna table with an empty table right now, right? So we need literature to pass out. So that means we need to define what that literature says. What does it mean to be part of Progressive Caucus? What do we want the community to know about us? So that's one of the things we'll be working on is what is the message that we're putting out there to the community that will draw people in to grow so that we can, and the goal of growing is to be effective, right? We can be effective as a group of 32, we can be even more effective as a group of 60, we can be very effective as a group of 200, right? So having more impact in our community, because our goal is to actually change our community for the better, right? So literature, t-shirts, and organizing costs money. Our next meeting is gonna be on the 14th of June at 1 o'clock. We are going to use a Zoom call so that we don't all have to travel for this time, so. How far are we?
All right, thank you, group 2. Okay, Jen, group 3.
really tried to have someone else report out.
You was taking notes.
Other people took notes. All right, so this is the policy group, and one thing we ended on is that good policy takes a lot of time. So we don't know that we're gonna be the most fast action group of the group. We might be a slower group. But some of the things we talked about is, from a high level, what does it mean to affect policy? So we talked about things like, well, we could actually petition the state caucus, and so we could come up with ideas that we really want to petition the state caucus to endorse and take forward, or petition at the county level or something like that. So that was one thing we talked about. We also talked about how we could look at policy in like a multifaceted way. So we could take something like housing and go, well, how does city council affect housing? How does county commission? How does a house rep or a congressperson and things like that? And we could start really kind of pointing out policy from different candidate lenses or, campaign lenses and things like that. And so we're attacking it from a lot of different angles. That can also be what feeds into how we endorse. So if you're not willing to take up this proposal that the Progressive Caucus is putting forth as a city council person, then we may not be able to endorse you. So that's how we kind of get our platform into the candidates. We talked a little bit about how some of it can just be around messaging around policy. The Democrats have really great policy and really bad messaging. And so maybe some of what we do is just figure out how to talk about it differently. Talk about how people matter and bring it back to you and the people and things like that. We talked about how we've kind of lost seeing each other's humanity, so we really need to do a lot as a party and as a progressive caucus to, go to where people are and actually meet with them and build that relationship with a lot of people I brought up today. Some of the possible policies that we might look into, and this is a long list, we will not do all of these, we'll pick a few probably for our first year, but some low-hanging fruit were around data centers and utilities. We think that is something that speaks to everybody regardless of party right now. We talked a lot about housing and tenants' rights, accessible and affordable childcare or early childhood education, because that helps a lot with economic mobility. We talked a lot about marginalized communities and how when rising tide lifts all ships. So when you help people with disabilities, you help folks in the trans community get better healthcare, you actually help everybody. So maybe we should look at very specific marginalized communities and how we can help them. And then right to work labor was something we talked about because there is a lot going on right now in the General Assembly with right to work and labor. So I would say we didn't get very far in what we're gonna do, but we talked about a lot of the things that we could do, and we wanna get really tight about this being strategic but also impactful.
Alrighty. Thank you, great. Okay, we are right on time. So I think we have Rob had the signal chat up, so we wanna sign up for that. And then our next meeting is June 24th, 7 o'clock here, if it's available. And then, do we need to adjourn? Bring another person to the next meeting. That's an action item. Okay. Do we need to adjourn? Like, vote to adjourn?
You just said.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Second? Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right.
Put it in your calendar.
Yeah, I can't even get into that. No, I don't know how to get a name chat. We have a there is no Q bar.
Oh, fair witness.
Fair witness. Is that Justice White?
I know Tim, and I know he's
Oh,
not the
it's
only owner. Tim Nolan.
Yeah, I was thinking it was brilliant.
Okay, so here's
He was a teacher. I'm friends with her article.
I know, that, well, he's there, so I don't know. Brainstorm on that. Someday even maybe we should talk about it, y'all, the one that needs to make y'all's, your precinct meeting and
Yeah, we've made some trips to Roanoke in the last week and a half. Like, we had a nice year on Thursday, or working food or drinks Mine's on there, but anyway, more than you need to know, but it doesn't, if I'm ever absent, it's usually. Are you gonna be in this? I know today I was trying to solve a cardiology referral issue that I've been like dealing with for months. My sister's texting me about some spillage situation on the camera that she sees and things like. That's for me. I was really an egg there for an hour. I know. I mean, something like that. Yeah, we're just triaging, right?
not the most,
Yeah,
I said
that
text
could be
her,
an
is your version up, that includes Caucus, so I was.
Take care of yourself. Thanks. I try to do this till like.
Fundraising meeting.
But
What are the suggestions they had?
I don't always know.
Well, I don't get out very often.
The only part I get out hopefully regularly is Wi-Fi.
No, you're not. I thought you were gonna get ready to tell us something
Or for advocacy safety.
Yeah, I mean, I've.
As they leave.
So last year,
Yeah, go get a drink or go to the park or go hang out
One group in California.
So I thought it'd be a good idea. He brings me everywhere.
And it wouldn't be nothing compelling. But if they subscribe to something.
I had it for 2 years and it just died out of
Well, they can subscribe for free to Substack, and then you have them do the donation on the option, but you have to write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She's gonna write. But I don't know how you can appreciate the rights. Bring that up. Molly may be too much. Let's say donate to one article if it's not in the same article.
Doesn't work like that.
Did she
How
give
does it work?
Yeah.
Okay.
What Substack does is it's a platform for basically for independent writers, independent media. So you, if they're following you because you're giving them news and information that they want. And
But you have to have more than one.
You said you should give it to you?
Well, it's trying, yeah, hold on, I think they gave it to you.
Let me take a picture and I'm gonna try to
Yeah,
find
but I have.
Hold on, see, I'm gonna call you right back. So,
Is she still here? Let me get gardenias before you take a picture of it.
My son is interested in making money. Some people are really interested in making money. I set it up where all the articles that I put out. But you set it up, you have to put a card on, like your bank card on the account. Because whenever, if you get money, it has to go onto an account. And,
I haven't made the money.
well, I don't know how they're doing that.
I'm not sure that Substack, for the kind of information that you're putting